Hola.
Federal judge has blocked the state's ban on abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy. The judge, in
CNN.
granting a Justice Department request, said, quote, women have been unlawfully prevented from exercising control over their own lives in ways
Issa
that are
Flores.
protected by the Constitution. He goes on to
Yeah,
say,
not my best
this
angle.
court will not sanction one more day of this offensive deprivation of such an unfortunately important right. Texas, meantime,
Reading
has
stuff on
already
TV, that's always a
indicated
hit.
that it will appeal. The Texas law has sparked anger and nationwide protests as women fight to protect their reproductive rights. The law took effect last month after the Supreme Court
Showing
declined
people
an
marching in
emergency
different
request to block
cities
it.
against the
CNN
abortion
legal
law in
analysts have been
Texas.
weighing in on the state's decision.
Judge Pittman had no patience at all for what Texas has done here, which is
Oh yeah, I was going to say earlier.
purposefully written a law in order to evade the federal courts from testing.
Yeah, I know that there's some religious conservatives that want Roe v. Wade to be struck down someday. I think this is light years away from that. This little thing in Texas that they had to go through for a short time couldn't be further from those people getting their way.
From accepting the lawsuits that SB 8 allows to be filed. So he had no patience at all for what the Supreme Court has done, and no patience at all for what the legislature.
I'm sure it's used to try to raise funds and get people old money to donate to trying to get Roe v. Wade struck down. It didn't take that long either for this to happen. It's pretty sad that the people that are, single-purpose voters and abortion is everything are destroying the planet so many other goddamn ways. It's like they're saying, oh, you can't immediately terminate this child if they let us slowly kill it with our lifestyle. Burn gasoline all over it and burn coal and eat terrible food, use terrible chemicals, and that's how your kid's going to die. You can't decide. You've decided. I don't know, it took 9 years and 3 months off the driving, and I've been doing it very sporadically lately because I've had no other way to get to a city with no taxi service. Find a place. That should be what politicians should be doing electric cars with solar in cities that have no taxi service. This whole country is like setting people up to fail constantly. They have terrible options and they trust their own people. And people in power have no desire whatsoever to give us options that don't destroy life on Earth. That's on the back burner. Yeah, that's down the line somewhere. Don't worry about that. But yeah, they won't. And they'll just say it'll be fixed after they die. Maybe the Republicans do have more shame than the Democrats after all. At least the Republicans aren't saying the country will be cleaned up after they're out of office and dead. And that's what the Democrats are saying. Maybe the Democrats have less shame, actually. Investigation into January 6th could be the biggest of its kind in U.S. history, and penalties for those who don't cooperate could be severe. All I know is the governors in states like Hawaii and California, and I think New York, that have said it'll be 100% renewable energy power grid by 2045 will be out of office and possibly dead by then. People who refuse to honor subpoenas, and they could get quite significant if you get out
up to 25,000 for the first year, up to 100, and this could start repeating itself. That'll get people's attention. They have to pay that kind of money.
We'll continue to make progress. Members are engaged in this process, and our ultimate goal here is to produce a report that lays out exactly what happened on January 5th.
I said earlier, I said, oh God, I can't wait to see which group of misers wins, the Democrats or the Republicans. Because that's what's really going on. I said if the $28 trillion debt is like a dumpster fire, the Democrats want to throw a kitchen trash in there, and the Republicans want to throw the bathroom trash in there. Both of them find it advantageous to have money or tax credits or benefits go to certain people of their choosing. And both of them feel like not everybody should get everything. And that lots of people should go without. Pretty pathetic. It's really sad that Americans keep electing people like this. This would be a good time to have no political party.
To essentially carry this vote ultimately on their own, deal with the national debt ceiling on a long-term basis. Democrats say they will not go that route.
Other countries, I know they think this is, a lot of stuff in America is a joke, and they must think it's quite a monster, having the two political parties that just gum everything up. You know, you see America as the strongest, biggest country in the world, or I guess they were. They can't even afford to give everybody health care or college tuition.
Because they believe that this will give them a little bit more time, at least to get their larger economic agenda through, not worry about this economic crisis.
And the health care that they do provide is half-ass. Doesn't have stuff like dental and vision and hearing.
Come November, Congress is back. The agenda is against the wall once again. Mike Rogers, CNN, Capitol.
Yeah, I don't know, elderly people that can't get hearing aids, that one thing. I mean, I think people generally find ways to get these things, but they have to pay for it themselves or borrow the money or go through non-profits maybe that provide some assistance. Or sometimes it's a government, a state, city government, or even federal government will offer some sort of program where they give people assistance that really need these things.
They are, and I would say that we're probably seeing a new spirit of communication, not cooperation, but communication between the U.S. and Chinese governments, and that is a result of a phone call between President Biden and President Xi a month ago, because the White House said it just wasn't getting anywhere at all in lower-level meetings with the Chinese government. As a result of that, we had this meeting in Switzerland where Biden's National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, and a senior Chinese official, Yang Jiechi, they were able to sit down without the kind of acrimony that we saw in March when these same officials met in front of television cameras and exchanged criticism and insults. In this case, it was a 6-hour closed-door meeting. They were able to touch upon the areas of disagreement. For example, Taiwan, Hong Kong, the South China Sea, Xinjiang, China's human rights record. The Chinese official was able to warn the U.S. not to interfere in its internal affairs, to respect China's territorial integrity and national security interests. And we're hearing from the U.S. side there is some kind of agreement in principle for a virtual summit by the end of the year. The White House has been arguing it needs some channels of communication reputation to establish guardrails between the world's two largest economies. In the White House buzzword is responsible competition, to make sure that a flashpoint doesn't spin out of control or erupt. And the case in point here is Taiwan, where China sent a record number of warplanes over the course of a holiday weekend. Those flights have tapered off. Nonetheless, the U.S. government has issued warnings. Take a listen to what Anthony Blinken, U.S. Secretary of State, has to say.
The activity is destabilizing. It risks miscalculation and
Destabilizes all Taiwan weapons.
regional peace and stability. So, we strongly urge Beijing to cease its military, diplomatic, and economic pressure and coercion directed at Taiwan.
Of course, China insists that Taiwan, which has never been governed by the Communist Party, is a breakaway region of China and refuses any attempt to recognize Taiwan's independence and has never ruled out the possibility of using force against Taiwan. He said.
Michael wants to drop there in Hong Kong. Thanks very much, Michael. Thank you.
Taiwan seems like China to me.
Well, you can see there, water rushing across streets in central Alabama, where a flash flood emergency has been issued in Jefferson and Shelby County. Across the Birmingham metro area, we're told a number of water rescues have been taking place, and there are reports of damage to homes and trees blocking roadways. Meteorologist Derek Van Dam joins us with more, and Derek, these images are pretty staggering. Give us a sense, really, of just how bad it is and how long this may last.
Yeah, this was an extreme amount of rain in a very short period of time. The infrastructure here just couldn't simply handle that amount of rain. In fact, it led to the flash flood emergency that was issued within Birmingham, Alabama, flooding roadways. That water creeping into businesses and homes. There were swift water and high water rescues that took place within this area. And Birmingham, on average, through the entire month of October, received about 3.34 inches of rain. That's for the entire month. Now, just in a very short period.
Man, there's a freak storm in San Diego the other day when I was driving to the airport. It was crazy. My dad said nothing hadn't happened like that for like 50 years. I thought it was. I wasn't sure if he knew what he was talking about because it sounded pretty wild, and I was in El Cajon, and there was only a few sprinkles. And then, well, I guess I was in La Mesa technically, but it was almost El Cajon, which is the next city over, and he said it just poured and rained. But then later on, when I was in Ocean Beach, it was coming, and on the way to the airport, oh my God, all this thunder and lightning on both sides of me, and just pouring rain. It's out of control. My friend is Eugene Davidovich. You check him out if you want. But that's what I saw when I was driving to the airport. And I hadn't driven in 9 years and 3 months. That was my first time. Jesus Christ. I was driving slow, so slow, compared to everybody else, but it wasn't really that slow. It was just like a little bit slower than the speed limit sometimes, or just a little bit over the speed limit. Some people, man, are in a serious hurry and don't enjoy just the driving experience, clearly. It came back to me pretty fast, but it reminded me how dangerous it is too, and how lucky people get for not just having a lot more accidents. These cars are just plain dangerous. We're just feet or inches away from disaster all the time. Just a matter of feet. Alright, adios.